Hello neighbor, Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. I'm so glad that you can join me tonight for another episode of Stamping Sunday. So every Sunday, not every Sunday, 2 Sundays a month, I try to come live with you and offer you a card class so that you can make some beautiful cards and maybe pick up a few tips or hints or tricks from what I have learned from stamping. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Michigan, and I have loved crafts for a really, really long time. And when I found Stampin' Up, it was a perfect fit for me. Now, if you missed the joining special last month, just know that another one will come up. But if you fall in love with Stampin' Up products like I did, then the best way to get all of this wonderful stuff with which to work is to join Stampin' Up and get a discount. You don't have to do that, but it's really the best choice. I am also very happy if you purchase things from my website. So I am trying to transition to some classes. Well, I offer this class for free, and then if you do free with a purchase, which is where you would purchase your supplies from Stampin' Up, and then using my demonstrator code, and then I would send you the kit for the Stampin' Sunday classes of the month. So I go live on the 1st and the 3rd Sundays of the month, unless I am out of town or have some kind of other obligation. So this month, actually, I'll be live this first Sunday, and then I'll have a recorded, maybe a recorded class on the 3rd Sunday, depending on what day it falls. So let's see, nope, I think I will be live. So either one, you can join me and watch. I can't see if anyone is watching yet, but I really want to get started with what we're going to work on tonight. I wanted to show you in the catalog where you can find the supplies we're going to use. So I have seen other people using this bundle, and I haven't tried it yet. So I thought we could try it live together. If you have the Layers of Beauty bundle, go ahead and get it out and stamp along with me. I'd love to see what you're working on or what you make. But it's in our catalog, the annual catalog, on page 56. Now the catalog is a little different than it used to be, but this is where you can find it. All right, I'm going to turn my camera around and we're going to get started. And I can show you what, as soon as I figure out where I put it. Oh, it's right over here. I'll show you what we're going to work with tonight. So you can get yours out if you want to. We'll probably use, I think we'll use some blending brushes and maybe some sponge daubers and our ink. I haven't tried this yet, so I have no idea how our card is going to turn out. But it'll be a happy surprise, I'm sure. Okay, so here we are at our stamping space, and I did want you to be able to say hello to Mortimer if you wanted to. He might not fit in the camera picture the whole time. I don't know. I cannot figure out exactly what I'm doing here with the camera. Maybe if I put it up a little higher. Hi, Janelle. I'm so glad that you did. I'm glad that you're here. All right, so now, okay, that's as high as it goes. I may have to lower it back down if we do some real intricate stuff, and so that you can see what we're doing. But I got Post-it notes all over. You're not supposed to see all of those, just not all the mess. You're just supposed to be able to see what I'm working on. Well, there is mess behind me, but hopefully not too much mess. It's a lot. If you're here, you can see it's a lot. Okay, so we're working with the Layers of Beauty bundle. So that is this stamp set here. It's a photopolymer stamp set. It's got a really large, beautiful flower image and a happy anniversary, grateful for you, God bless, you make my heart smile, some very nice little sentiments. It also comes with dies, Layers of Beauty dies. I'll open those up so you can get a look at those. So there's, it's going to cut out the flowers, some pretty little leaves, and this cute little tag here. All right, and I'm not going to close that all the way because I'm sure we're going to need that. And then it also comes with these Layers of Beauty decorative masks. I've seen people use them. I haven't myself yet. All right, and what's cool about these is they are up here in the corner. They're numbered so that you know which ones go first. And then you can also use that little notch to line them up so that you know you're getting exactly the right alignment when you're adding your ink. Okay, I'm going to leave those open too because I would like to use those. And let's go ahead and get started. I think we'll use it's a tough choice. But I did see, I don't know if it was today or not, but I saw a little quote by Dolly Parton about yellow roses. And so I think that's what we'll make tonight. I think we'll make some yellow roses for tonight. All right, and if you're wondering what I am grabbing over here, I've got some Lemon Lolly, I've got some thick basic white for our card base, and then I also have some regular basic white. Hi Kim, I'm so glad that you're joining me. I'm glad that I think I finally figured out what's going on with my camera. So yay for that. Now it could be all wrong next week, but at least for tonight, we're good. Okay, I am going to measure this piece here and see if we can use this for what we're doing, and I think we can. Now this piece is 4 1/4 by 11, so if you're working along, you want to cut your thick basic white to 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to turn it sideways and score it at 5 1/2. Now, if you're on my email list, I do send out PDFs with the instructions in them. If you're on my team, which means if you join Stampin' Up and use my code, then I have a Google file a Google folder where I keep all of my tutorials, and so you can access those at any time. I do need to update that and reshare it, but it takes time, a lot of time. So, all right, here's our card base right here, and then we are going to cut a piece. Well, actually, look, we have a piece. Let's see if that'll fit. I think this is a bigger stamp than what is going to fit on here. Definitely. And I need a bigger block. So I am going to use this, what looks like an enormous block to me. What is my monthly code? I will I will have to look it up. I think I set one up already for this month, but I am not sure. Maybe I can look real quick and I can post that for you. Well, actually, I'll look after the video because I don't want to, I will post it. And that's a good reminder. I'm going to make a little post-it note because I should know that when I come live so I can tell you. So let's see, code for this. I did start one, I'm pretty sure, the other day. Okay, so this block is block F. It's probably, I think it's the biggest block. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it is. So we are going to put these roses on that block. Now, I'm always kind of careful when I'm peeling these off. I don't know if they can stretch out or not. I wouldn't think so, but it does make me a little nervous, so I'm always trying to peel them off a little bit carefully. Okay, and this is going to fit on our block here. And let's see, it will fit on our card, but it's not, there's not a lot of space left. So let's, trying to see which way it would go best. Maybe this way? I don't know, or maybe it should go off the edge. We'll see. All right. So what I'm going to do next is cut a piece of lemon lolly to go around, and we're going to make it really tight to our card base layer because we know that we're not going to have much space, right? So we're going to cut it at, instead of, usually I would do 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to do 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. All right, and then we'll set those pieces of lemon lolly aside, and that is going to go right on our card. And then let's cut a piece of basic white that is 5 by 4 1/4. And hopefully that will be the right size for our flowers. Okay, so we're going to go 5 1/4 by 4 with our basic white. And I do, by the way, I do have a tutorial almost ready to send out. I just need to write the email to go with it. For our last Stampin' Sunday, I got out the one for card class, and I don't think I know I haven't because I just was looking at it. I haven't finished yet the one for Stampin' Sunday last month for the 19th, for May 19th. There's been a lot going on, so that's why. Not that that's an excuse. I don't need to have an excuse. I'm just letting you know that sometimes life throws a little kink in my plans. And it's definitely done that the last couple weeks. All right, I'm going to turn this way to stamp, and I'm going to stamp with Smoky Slate, which is a very light gray. I kind of want this to be a really soft card. I think it would be a really nice anniversary card. And there's a happy anniversary on there. I know that we need some I don't feel like I've made an anniversary card in a while, but it's definitely something I need every once in a while. Okay, we're going to, and all right, you may have noticed that instead of putting my stamp on my ink pad, I've turned my stamp over and I'm adding the ink to the top of it. Now, when it's a really large stamp, I would rather do it this way because I feel like I'm not as likely to rock it off the edge and end up with a smudgy image. And since this is the first time I'm using this stamp, I am going to test stamp just to be sure that my stamp is taking the ink well, because every once in a while it won't, and then it needs a little bit of cleaning before it can be used. But in general, if I ink it up first and stamp, then I find you find out where the issues are. See how I didn't get the middle of that? I know, I do really like the Stamparatus. I love that. And it would work really good for this, especially for large stamps. I really wish they still could sell that. So if you can get a hold of a Stamparatus, they're really great. I know there's other products out there like it, but I haven't used any of those, so I can't tell you exactly how they compare. All right, let's try that again and see if I could get the middle this time. It looks like it's on there, but maybe I didn't press it down right. So we're going to press, this time I'm going to make sure I press in the center. And that's much better. All right, so now we are ready to stamp on. See the difference between the two? This is why I usually practice stamp with a new stamp, just to make sure that I'm stamping right and that I'm not missing anything. So we're going to ink it up again. And I'm not pressing it on really hard. I'm just kind of tapping it all around. I know, Janelle, I really hope they will come up with something. I hope they'll come up with something for that, and maybe some kind of magnetic platform for the Big Shot that will work well. They had one for a little while, but from what I understand, it started to fall apart. I wish I had gotten one to try it out myself. But even if I had to save it for every once in a while when I do little bitty stuff, it's really nice. So sometimes I use a little Post-it tape on my dies while they're on the plate. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it would be really nice for the little one, wouldn't it? I do feel like I have a harder time getting those little dies to stand still in the little one. But maybe it's because I've used the big one so much, I'm more used to it. Oh, washi tape, yeah. I've been using Scotch removable tape. I just bought a refill and put it in my tape dispenser. And it works pretty good. Okay, I'm trying to line this up. So I'm not being quiet on purpose, but Sometimes I can't think and talk at the same time. All right, so there is our, okay, this is our rose image. And it does look, sometimes I feel like the smoky slate looks a tiny bit green when you first stamp it, but it seems to dry much better than that. Okay, and then I'm just going to clean it off real quick because I don't want to let it sit. And I may need to use it again, so I'm going to leave it right on. Use the Post-it tape. Hi, Kim. I have used the Post-it tape before too. That works. But most of the time, I feel like I'm in too big a hurry to use the tape. I just hurry up and put everything together and run it through. Actually, I don't hurry up. I almost never hurry. I can tell you that's when I make the greatest amount of mistakes. Okay, so here is our stamped image. And then I am going to zoom that in a little bit so that you can see a little better this next part. Let's see, I think right about there will be good. Now, here are the dies. I don't know, you probably can't see it from where you are, but see that little tiny number 1 in the corner? That's the one we're going to start with, and we're going to go right through the, now I just have to figure out which way it goes. I think this way. Maybe? Nope. Okay, this could be tricky. I don't know. I assume it goes this one. There we go. All right, now we're getting it. Okay. Now this part too, you could probably tape. In fact, maybe I will, just so I am not too tempted to move it, to wiggle it around. Okay. And see, my tape looks just like, it looks just like regular tape. It would make really nice note cards. And I think pretty easy too. All right, so I'm gonna put my little piece of tape on there just so I don't scoot anything around. And I need my yellow blending brush. Okay, and I have one right here with some yellow on it. And I saw somebody else do yellow and blue, and I really like them together. So I have a blue one right here. Whoops, well, it's kind of a little bluish. It's going to be more blue by the time we're done. Let's see, I think maybe we'll use the blueberry bushel with it. It's really blue, but I think it'll look good. So let's start with our lemon lolly. Okay, and then what I like to do, and this is kind of an extra step, but I usually take an extra acrylic block and I sit it here on the side. And I like to swirl my brush a little bit in my yellow ink and then swirl it on my acrylic block before I put it on my card. I'm not 100% sure why I do that, but I do. And then I'm just going to add the ink to my flowers. And I'm going to try to keep these little ones over here, and this one, the ones that look a little more like daisies, I'm going to keep those separate. So then I'm going to swirl on my lemon lolly and swirl on my block and then swirl on my flowers. And I always try to start off to the edge just a little bit. And I'm going to add my layers pretty slow. So if you are watching me in real time, you're kind of stuck with my slowness. But if you're watching me later on YouTube, then you can speed me up if you want and get to the point a little faster. So I'm just going to add lots of thin layers here. And you will be able to see a little bit of that ink developing on your acrylic block, but not very much. See how you can see just a little smidge of it there. I think maybe for me it makes it spread a little more evenly on the brush, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something that I picked up somewhere and I've kept doing it because it works for me. And I really like these little brushes. They do come in a set of 3, so you can get 3 of them. And then I keep them so that they're kind of one color each. Now you can wash them out, so if you only got 3 and you were say you were making this card and you were using yellow and blue and a green, which we'll get to in a minute, then you could wash them out before you make a different card and use them for completely different colors. I like to have enough that I have them set aside for a few basic colors that I use all the time. I have a pink one, a yellow one, a blue one, because blue is my favorite. I actually have 2 blue ones. And I don't know if I even have a green one yet. I do have some sponge daubers though too. So you can use these masks with either the brushes or the sponge daubers, either one. All right, here we go. Oh, I forgot to swirl, and then it's going to be uneven. And I'll get I'm kind of particular about things. So if it gets uneven, then I'm not going to be happy about it. Okay, so there is our first layer of yellow. And then we're going to need our second layer. And what I am going to do is just line it up this way. Now you could take them off, or I think you could probably layer them right over top of one another, but I think my paper scooted. I didn't tape my paper, only my mask to the paper. Alright, so now we gotta go back a little bit maybe and line it up. I think that looks almost right. There we go. Okay, this time I'm going to take my paper so it doesn't scoot around. There we go. Okay, and then I can just flip that one open, slide this one up next to it, And it should be close to being in the right spot. Let's see. There we go. All right, so now, oh, I didn't do the blue. All right, we gotta go back. All right, hold on. I didn't do the blue. Okay, so there's our yellow, and then we need our little blueberry bushel. And I'm gonna wipe this yellow off this block so I don't contaminate my blue. This card may take a little bit longer than our normal ones, so we might only get one in tonight. All right, so we're gonna swirl it in the blueberry bushel and then swirl it on the block. Now this one, you can see that blue ink showing up on the block. All right, so we've swirled it on, and now we're gonna do these little flowers and some blueberry bushel. And it does usually take a couple layers of color. Unless you put a lot on it first. And I don't generally like to do that. I don't think I got those little buds either on the edges. I'm not sure, but I don't think I did. Now, one thing I can tell you about the blending brushes is if you have ever huffed on a stamp to reactivate your ink a little bit, you can do the same thing with your blending brush. So you're just going to breathe on it, and then it will actually make that ink come to life again a little bit if it tries to dry out a little. All right, so here we go. We're going to do those blue ones a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to get this one over here. It's kind of a little one, so I'm trying to be careful not to get it on that yellow flower. All right, and then we're going to get those little tiny buds. I kind of missed those in the first part. All right, so there's our blueberry bushel. All right, now I'm going to open up my lemon lolly again, and I'm going to close my blueberry bushel because I had an incident the other day where I almost ruined my stamp pad by leaving all my stamp pads open, and I should know better. All right, and I'm going to get a separate little block for my yellow too. I'm going to put the blue over here with the blue, and I'm going to keep the yellow with the yellow. All right, and this time we need to do those little buds. So I forgot those the first time. All right, so here we go. We're going to get these little buds over here. And there are some little buds over here too. Now, they could be blue, but I think they probably go with the roses, so we're going to make them a nice little shade of lemon lolly. While we're here, we might as well go over those big roses one more time. Okay. I think a little bit of that blue did get over there. All right, so I'm gonna have to watch that tricky, sneaky little blue. Okay, but look how pretty it is already. Okay, next layer we're gonna put on there, line it right up. Now, I think that you could leave this one down and line it up over the top, but that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm just trying to line it up the best I can, close to where I think it should be. And we'll go with that. Okay, so now I'm going to get another little piece of tape. And I'm going to tape this one right here so it doesn't move around too much. Okay, I need to move that little yellow block again. So we're going to swirl in the yellow ink, swirl on our acrylic block, and then we're going to swirl on our flowers. Okay, so here we go. And we just want to make sure that we hit all the spots that are new. Okay, so there's the first flower. And I do know there are probably people who do this much faster than I do. I'm not super fast. We have had a lot going on this past week. We've had some car problems and some instrument switching. Hannah's in the orchestra and she has decided to switch to a new instrument, which is huge, by the way. But I'm glad that she's switching now because this was her first year. So I'd rather she switch now than wait and try to switch later. Because it'll be a lot of work, I'm sure, learning new notes. Because of course the instrument she chose has different notes than the one she had previously. All right, I'm going to put my finger on that little blue flower because I feel like it's gonna get hit by accident here. Or maybe I need a little piece of tape on that. Maybe the yellow's not quite as effective as that blue would be. Whoop. I scooted the whole thing. All right. I'm going to put a little bit more on there because I really want this layer to stand out. Oh, and did I forget to swirl it? I think I did. There we go. All right, so let's go around one more time. First flower, little buds. Next flower. And the last flower. And then these little buds. Right here. Okay, and now we have to do the blue. And so I'm going to switch to the blueberry bushel. And I'm going to take a piece of my little tape and I'm going to put it here next to my yellow flower, just so that I don't have to worry about getting my blue ink on it. Alright, so I'm going to swirl again. This block is getting pretty colored up. So, I think that's a good sign that it's working well. So now we're going to swirl over those blue flowers. That's the first one. Okay, and then I'm going to huff on my blending brush. Just like that. And I'm going to swirl it a little bit again on that acrylic block. I think it moved. There we go. I'm going to go over those blue little flowers. I am nervous that it moved. Not nervous enough to abandon my projects or put it in the punishment bin just yet. I do have more than a few projects in the punishment bin currently. Eventually, I suppose they might get out of there, but they might not. Might just be their home from now on. Because there is a reason they're in there. Alright, so there is the second one. Okay, now we have one more layer of flowers. Okay, and I'm going to take this one off and set it to the side and try to remember that there is ink on it so that I don't put anything else on top of that until I clean it. So maybe I should put it over here by the cleaner. Alright, and here is our last layer of flowers before we start on the leaves. Oh, that one got a little bit of blue on it too. Well, I guess that's how it goes sometimes, huh? Oh, and I have this one. Oh, that's right, isn't it? It's just not sitting where it should be. Alright, we're going to line up those little flower centers, and then we'll know that it's where it needs to be. So I'm actually going to take this one off, and I'll take this one on here where it needs to be. Just like that. Okay, so now we have one more layer of yellow to do. One more layer of blue, and then we've got to figure out what color green we want for our leaves. Alright, here we go. Flower number one. I feel like this would be a good way to do maybe some multicolored roses. Some of my favorites are peace roses, and you know how they're kind of peach and yellow and pink? Well, maybe we'll try that next. I think that would be really beautiful. And since this layer, the little blue ones are only going to be the centers, we are going to use this yellow on those two. So we're going to swirl on our ink, swirl on our block, and then swirl over our flowers. Swirl, swirl, swirl. So many swirls. Lots of swirling. I hope everyone's doing well tonight, that you're having a good summer. I got a few of my weeds pulled last weekend, so that was nice. At least the ones in my rose bed. I still have a ton over by the irises. I got one of my garden beds all cleaned out and planted. The other one is looking kind of like a jungle a little bit. But I just found out that the house next door had a raccoon problem. And I kind of knew that ahead of time, but evidently the problem was a little more serious than I thought. So I'm glad that they're working on getting it taken care of. Hopefully, hopefully we don't get any visitors or any little furry friends trying to move in since they've been moved out of their other location. All right, so now we need a green for this next layer. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one off. That we did get a little bit of blue on there, but I think it's not bad for a first try. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. And we're going to work on those leaves, and then we'll see where we're at. I feel like I really want to do garden green, but I only have that in the Stampin' Spots. So let's see if I can find it. And olive, garden green. Now, if you don't have any Stampin' Spots, they're really nice. They're just little spots like this. And most of mine I get in the paper pumpkin. I know that before they came in a standard set in the catalog, but I don't know if they still are or not. I know that you can get blank ones and fill them with your own choice of ink. All right, so next is our garden green. And I'm going to just wipe this ink off the block, and then we can use that for our garden green. So we're going to take our little garden green and we're going to swirl our brush. I didn't even put the mask on yet. Okay. And we're going to line it up. Now, one of the things I thought was really cool about this is it does these little vines too. I just thought that was really cool. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, people must have had to color so carefully along that little line to get that to show up like that. But you don't. You just swirl your brush over it. Now, most people probably do this much faster than I do. So if you watch somebody else, you're probably going to notice that they get this done a bit faster. But I really enjoy my stamping time, and so most of the time I'm not rushing to get projects done. I really like to just enjoy the process. I wish I had some more of those smaller brushes because they are a little bit easier to get in these tinier spots of decorative mask. But you could definitely use different shades of green for these. You could use, you could use browns or grays in here. You can add a lot of different colors, I think. And keep in mind, this is the first time I have used these. It's here with you. So isn't that kind of fun? Right there. That added a little brighter green that time. All right, and I'm kind of trying to leave a little bit different so that they're all kind of at a different level on each space. Oh, these are so pretty. Okay, this is really pretty. I did close that up, but I know I'm going to need it again for the next one. Okay, so now we're going to line it up again. See, I'm not sure why I left that other one on there. I could have peeled it right off, couldn't I? It doesn't need to line up perfectly. Okay, I think that's good. And actually, I could probably use the same piece of tape. I do like this removable tape. I did get it from Amazon. But I think that the masking tape would work too if you had the masking tape. All right, so here we go with our last set of leaves. I'm really excited to use these more and figure out exactly what the best way to use them is and what color combinations we could use. So I already told you my favorite rose is that peace rose. That is peach and pink and kind of a little bit orange. That's my absolute favorite. I only have one of those planted in the front. The rest of mine are all red. And actually the peace rose is the only one I bought specifically for our house. The red ones were already there. And sadly enough, the peace rose is the one that is in probably the least good shape. So I am going to work really hard this year to get some fertilizer for my rose bed, maybe add some maybe a different kind of compost or something. If you know a lot about roses and you could comment, that would be great. But what I really would like to know is, what is your favorite rose? Do you have a favorite? Or do you prefer a different kind of flower? I do also have some irises that are really beautiful. I know I have one in there that is kind of a dark burgundy color. It's really pretty. But right now it is totally consumed by weeds. So that's another project I have got to get to. And with our recent expenses, we that's kind of on the back burner. I do like swirling on the block. I think the red ones, I think they do grow the best, and I don't know if it's because they're the most popular, so they're like a little bit hardier. I don't know, but it does seem that way. But I'm really gonna try and get that peace rose to come around. The other problem I have is aphids. We have so many, so I am trying really hard to attract some little ladybugs. I heard that they will eat the aphids. And I think I found maybe 2 out there last year, but I heard you can buy them locally, but I've never found them. So I would rather do that than treat my roses with chemicals, just because there's lots of animals around here. I don't let my own dog hang around in the front yard because I'm afraid she would run off. But I know there are other neighborhood dogs who come wandering by, and I would hate for somebody's dog to get sick because I was trying to kill the bugs, you know, the bad bugs. I would never try to kill the friendly bugs. All right, so here is what our flower looks like. Now, if you look close, you can see a little bit where I messed that one up. But we're gonna pretend that does not exist. And what I really want to do is add some Wink of Stella. So before we, you know what, I should probably clean these blocks off, but I'm going to set them to the side where I put the mask. So hopefully I will not mess them up. All right, let's add some Wink of Stella here to our flowers. And I don't know if we'll even be able to see this. It looks like my Wink of Stella is not as bright as it once was. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can see it a little bit if I pick it up. Now, I do have to keep in mind that the ink is water-based. So as you're adding the Wink of Stella, it can smudge around your ink. So really, when you're coloring, you don't want to cross over from your yellow flowers to your green leaves right away. You want to do all the colors that are the same first. And I kind of picked it up because I can see that Wink of Stella a little bit easier if it picked up. But it will smear it a little bit, and even the smoky slate, because it's water-based. So as you're adding your Wink of Stella, just keep that in mind, that you might want to stick to just doing one color at a time. And it looks like my sparkles are maybe wearing out a little. Don't fear though, never fear. I have a new Wink of Stella. Yes, Kim, you can use it pretty much the same way you would a water painter even, because it will blend those colors together. Now, if you're coloring over Stampin' Blends, it won't blend those because they're alcohol-based. But if you're coloring over the Stampin' Write markers or any stamped ink except for StazOn ink, and I don't think it will blend Memento. But any of the classic ink colors, it will, like if we were to continue to smear this around, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's definitely pulling that green to the side there. So if I drag the yellow over it, it does kind of change that. It changes that color for sure. All right, so there are our flowers. And mine is falling apart. They don't usually, this part usually stays in the lid, but I am making my Wink of Stella work really hard. It's probably past its life and it's still, I'm not retiring it, not yet. Okay, let's put this part together and then we'll get our sentiment on there. All right, I feel out of sorts, like all my stuff is kind of all over the place tonight. I probably say that every time, but tonight it feels extra true. Okay, let's get our liquid glue. And we're going to do the same thing that we usually do. I'm still zoomed in, so if you need me to zoom out, you'll have to say so. But for now, I'm trying to stay in my little square of zoomed in. So that way you can see exactly what I'm doing. So we've got our thin line around the edge, and I'm leaving a little squiggle here for my finger. And then a squiggle in the middle. And that way I can use that spot to pick my cardstock up and get it lined up in the right space. And because we're using that liquid glue, we can kind of scoot it around a little bit. Make sure it's lined up where we want it to be. And glue it down. I really did want to do a lot of stamping this weekend, but I've been working on a little baby blanket. I don't know if you saw the pictures or not, but my friend had asked me if I knew anyone who could help put together a baby blanket. And I said, well, sure I do. I can do that. And it's, to be honest, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. And because of all the crazy things that have been going on, I had not got to it. So I started on it this weekend and I've made good progress, but I can only sit and work on it about an hour and a half, I think 2 hours one day at the most, before I need to go and do other things too. There are just so many things to do all the time. All right, so next we are going to glue this on. This is kind of a simple card, this last part. The coloring is what took us the longest. So we're going to do our thin line of glue. I just realized you can't see that. Around the edge, I'm going to leave a spot for my finger and then a squiggle down the middle. I gotta stop for a drink of water real quick. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but my voice was starting to get a little froggy. Okay, now I got it the wrong way. Okay, now I'm going to put it right here, like this. Now you could, actually, there are die cuts that go with this. So you could cut this out if you wanted to, and then pop it up a little. It's not quite dry yet. That's why I'm trying to be a little careful about where I push it. I just noticed that on my table. A little bit of that Wink of Stella, but look how pretty that is. Those turn out so pretty, and they're really easy. Okay, now we need a sentiment. And we're going to do Happy Anniversary because I already told you I need an anniversary card. And actually, I'm going to clean off this little green block that we used. I'm going to stamp on that. And I'm going to try to, well, first I'm going to try to talk, but I'm going to try to show you just a little trick that I like to use sometimes when I'm stamping words. So we're going to grab our piece of basic white, and I think that's, no, this is thick basic white. I can tell by the feel of it. I'm going to set that to the side. And I'm going to grab one of these over here. So I have a whole little stack. I know I showed you this before, but I have a little stack of 4 by 5 1/4 sheets of paper. So I use these a lot for the inside of my cards, but I also like having them handy when I don't have my scrap bin, and I can use them to stamp on and then cut out. Thank you, Kim. Okay, so we're going to stamp this in Smoky Slate, and I'm going to show you. This is not really a trick, but it's just like a little. It just adds a little extra to whatever we're working on. Okay, I feel like maybe that trimmer is in the way, guys. If you have suggestions about what things are in the way, you can always tell me, and I will take them into consideration. So we're going to tap our stamp on here. Now remember, when you're inking up your stamp, you're just going to tap, 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 tap. You're not going to smush. No smushing. Stamping is not smushy. Okay? We're tap, tap, tapping. It's like a dance. Stamping is like a dance. And then we're going to stamp our happy anniversary. Okay, and that's in our Smoky Slate. Now, I'm going to close that up, clean off my stamp, and we're going to add a shadow color. So I'm going to open my Lemon Lolly. I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Practice stamp just to be sure. Tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to line it up so that it's slightly offset. Now, this is where if you do have the Stamparatus, it would come in handy. And I could show you on that, but I'm going to try to show you on this so you can see that you can do it either way. So we're just going to set it so that it's a little bit off. And I'm not going to push it down right away. I'm kind of lowering it a little bit at a time, so that I can tell, hopefully, that it's only a little bit off. Okay, and then when we pick it up, look how cool that is. See, it's kind of like a little shadow. Now, you could do it both ways. You could do the brighter color first. You could do it with black memento. You could stamp with any color you want, really. But it's just a little, it just adds a little something extra. And then we're going to fussy cut it. So when you're fussy cutting something like this, sometimes it's best to draw a little bit around it first, so that it makes your fussy cutting a little bit easier. So I'm just going to go around and kind of get a general idea where I want to cut my words out at. So I'm going to go around, and I'm just drawing really lightly, just around this way. I'm going to make a little wide loop around that Y. And come down. And I do try not to get too close to my words, but sometimes I have to erase later. And erasing is not that big of a deal. I really like these white erasers. I got them, I might have got them at the dollar store. But once I found some, I ordered them on Amazon, and I really like that they don't leave little marks when I erase. So you know how some erasers, especially the red ones, will leave a little mark? I do not want that. Because I am kind of fussy about how things turn out. All right, so now we've got our basic shape kind of going, and then I can see that I want it to be a little bit rounder right here, and maybe a little less round right there. Okay, so now I have a little outline around my happy anniversary, and I can cut it out. What you want to do when you're cutting is try hard to turn your paper, not your scissors. And that will help you to get a nice straight line, and it's also a safer way to cut so that hopefully you don't accidentally jab yourself. So I'm just going around just inside where I made my little pencil lines. And you don't have to cut along your lines perfect, but I found it really helps me to have kind of a general guide to go by when I'm cutting. Right, I'm not 100% happy with that one little corner, but let's see if we can fix it here in a second. Alright, it's right here. I should have just followed my line. No, I didn't. There we go. Alright, I like that better. Okay, now see how it turns out. And then I just need to erase my little lines there. Okay, so here is our little sentiment, and we can put it right up here. And I wonder if we should put a little shape behind it. I think would be nice. I just got the Unbounded Love Dies, so let's see if there is a little shape in there that would look nice behind it. And I see that it's already 7:16, so this will probably be our only card for tonight. But before I send out the PDF, I will make sure that I will try to make a couple of other cards so that you can get an idea what else you could do with these. And I really like this little oval in here. Look at this cute little scallop. This is the cutest. Now this is in the Unbounded Love Dies. Let me show you these because they're super cool. So all of these are really great labels. If you don't already have a label set, like little labels that you can die cut on your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this would be a great set to get. All right, and I have a little piece of that lemon lolly here. I'm just going to die cut this real quick. Maybe not real quick, but as quickly as I can. All right, look how pretty that is. That is really pretty. Oh, it looks like I left a little tiny bit of pencil mark. I didn't notice it until I put it against that little scallop. But look, isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. Okay, so we will put this, I think it's got to go up here in the corner. Don't you think? Or maybe at the bottom. Nope. I think here. That's my choice. Anyway. All right, so we're going to use a little bit of our liquid glue. And I'm just making a little swirly spot there. I know you couldn't see it, but see it? Just a little swirly glue spot. And I'm going to put it right on that scalloped oval. I really like ovals. I wish we had a few more oval shapes. That's another thing I would like. I'm feeling very ASCII tonight. Okay. We can put some Stampin' Dimensionals on there. And actually, I could zoom out a little bit now so that you can see more of my space here. So we can put this pretty little label on here. Pretty little happy anniversary. And then let's do one more thing. Let's take our Wink of Stella brush. Can't see if any more are still coming out of them. Ooh, now I just splattered it. Well, alright, that wasn't what I meant to do. But we're going to add it. Alright, can you see what I'm doing? I'm just adding it around the edges of that scallop. And I know that it's not going to be a big thing, a big showy thing, but I think it's going to be a nice, pretty little addition. So I'm just coloring those little scallop parts on the edge. I definitely shook a little more glitter out of there. I should have kept the cap on while I did that. I don't really want too much to be slathering around, but I do like sparkle. All right, so there is our card. I really think it's beautiful. Now, it probably needs some little gems. Who am I kidding? Probably it does. It really does need some little gems. And over to the side here, I have two different choices. So I've got the basic rhinestones that are really pretty, and I have these iridescent pearls. Now, these two embellishments are probably my favorites. Probably all-time favorites. I love these gemstones, and I love the pearls. What I really like about the rhinestones is that we can color them with our Stampin' Blends to make them any color we want them to be. I think that's really cool. And I love the pearls because they're already an iridescent color that picks up the colors around them. So I think that today we will use these basic rhinestones. If I can get them. Oh, well, they're pack. Okay, they were wanting to stick in there. They did not want to come out. Okay, and we'll put, let's see, I'll put one here. And here. And here. And there. And here. All right, so there is our finished card for tonight. Let me know what you think, if you think you're going to make one or try this set or work on those decorative masks. I think they're really cool. I don't know yet what our project will be for the next Stampin' Sunday. I tend to be a little last minute about planning them out, but since but I'm trying to get better about that. So I should be sending out an email tonight with our PDF from last month. If you aren't on my email list, you might want to sign up for that. I will send out the code in the email, the code for this month. So if you will place an order this month, what I am going to do is, well, there are two ways. There is a card class coming up this month, and that is on June 14th. So that's the next in-person card class. You can come at noon or at 6. If you want to come to that, I need you to RSVP in the email when it comes. That way I know how much stuff to prepare. I don't know what the cards are yet, but I can assure you we will make at least one happy anniversary card. So, but for the in-person class, you will actually make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. Now, if you place an order using the host code, there are 2 options. If you spend $35, you can come to card class, the in-person card class for free, or I can send you the kit for the Stampin' Sunday cards. So there'll be 2 weeks of Stampin' Sunday cards. This one today, and I will add another one to it. I just don't know what that is yet. But I'll send that out in email. Both, you'll get both the Stampin' Sunday cards. So now if you order that, then you will only get 1 of each Stampin' Sunday card. But if you come to in-person card class, then you get 2 each of all 4 designs. I'm sorry, I'm still figuring it out. I'm a little bit new at this, and I really thank you for joining me tonight to stamp, and I hope that you are stamping happy. I will see you on the 3rd Sunday of the week. I don't know, let's see, what today is the 2nd, so 2 and 4, that'd be the 16th. I think it's Father's Day weekend. I don't know if I have any plans that Sunday night or not. If something comes up, I may make my video ahead of time instead of going live. But I will still be providing you a class. I hope that you have a good night. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode.